The scent of roses filled the air. Candlelight danced along stained glass windows. My name Sierra was stitched in gold thread down the length of the velvet aisle runner. It should have been the most magical weekend of my life. Instead, it was the day I learned my family wasn't just indifferent to my pain. They were hoping I'd fall flat on my face. Literally. The story begins. I had spent 9 exhausting months planning this wedding down to the last detail. Every decision, the pale lavender orchids, the string quartet playing Clair de Lune, the champagne satin tablecloths, was chosen with care. I paid for nearly everything myself, working 2 jobs and even freelancing on weekends. My fiancé, Damon, was everything to me. He'd grown up bouncing around group homes in Ohio, with no stable family to speak of. I wanted this day to mean something for both of us, to show that love, not blood, builds a home. But I should have known better when it came to my own family. My parents, Linda and Chuck, had always treated me like I was an inconvenience, unless I was making them look good. And then there was my little brother, Blake, the crown prince of the Western family circus. Blake could do no wrong, even when he did everything wrong. I graduated from NYU with honors and a double major. My parents said, "Good job, honey," like I'd just remembered to return a library book. Meanwhile, when Blake got kicked out of college twice and totaled Dad's Lexus, he was gifted a brand new Audi for his birthday. Make it make sense. The rehearsal dinner. The night before the wedding, I arrived at the rehearsal dinner in a pearl white A-line dress, my curls pinned delicately back. Damon looked incredible. My maid of honor, Janelle, handed me a handkerchief with S+D=always stitched in blue. I finally exhaled, thinking, maybe this time, things will be different. Then Blake showed up, late, loud, drunk, sunglasses on indoors, shirt half tucked, and the audacity of a man who's never faced a real consequence in his life. "Yo," he bellowed, slapping my back. "Why does this place look like a funeral parlor?" "Blake," I hissed. "Shut up," he smirked. "Relax, sis. You're not even married yet, and already acting like a bitter housewife." I ignored him. "Keep it together, Sierra. One more night." We moved into the processional run-through. I stood at the top of the church's grand marble staircase, holding a bouquet of silk flowers, heart-pounding. Everyone was watching. The music cue started. I took one step, and then I heard it. A low voice behind me. "Bet she falls better than she walks." And then I was falling. Blake had shoved me. I hit the marble steps hard. My heel snapped, my shoulder screamed, and my vision blurred. The gasps around me felt like echoes underwater. I looked up through tears and pain to see Damon rushing toward me. And my parents? Linda just sipped her white wine. Chuck rolled his eyes. "You always make a scene, Sierra. It's a stumble, not a car crash." And Blake? He looked pleased. The ER visit. At the hospital, the doctor told me my collarbone was fractured. I'd need to wear a sling. The wedding dress I had painstakingly altered. It would need to be redone in 12 hours. That night, as I sat on the couch, Damon gently touched my hand. "Sierra," he whispered, "why do you let them treat you like this?" That's when it hit me. I was done. Done begging for their approval. Done shrinking myself. Done pretending family meant love. "I'm taking the venue back," I said. Damon blinked. "Are you serious?" "As a second fall would be," I replied. The plan? The next morning, I called Margot, the venue owner, an elegant, silver-haired woman I'd bonded with over our mutual love of classic poetry and lavender scones. "I heard what happened," she said. "I am so sorry, sweetheart." "Thank you," I said. "I need a favor." "Anything?" "I want everyone from my family taken off the guest list." There was a pause. Then a chuckle. "Consider it done." Janelle and Damon's foster brothers sprang into action. We contacted every vendor, every guest, every moving part. We rewrote the entire wedding in 6 hours flat. And while my mum was getting her curls set and my dad was polishing his Rolex, the wedding they thought they'd be photographed in was being rewritten without them. The ceremony. At 2 p.m., under a canopy of oak trees in Margot's garden, I walked down a new aisle. My gown? A vintage off-shoulder silk masterpiece Margot had pulled from storage just that morning. No straps to press on my bruised shoulder. I looked like a queen. As the music played and birds fluttered in the background, I felt free. The guests who loved us stood, tears in their eyes. Damon smiled, looking like a man who couldn't believe his luck. And honestly, neither could I. Across town, my parents arrived to find the venue gates locked and their names flagged on a list. "I'm her mother." My mum shrieked at the security guard. He didn't flinch. "Not today, Mom." Blake sent Damon a text. Is this a joke? Damon sent back a photo of the two of us at the altar, surrounded by love. But it wasn't over. 3 days later, a letter arrived. Thick paper, embossed seal, a private investigator's report from Margot's connections. Inside, Blake's sealed juvenile record and 2 prior assault cases, including one that left a young woman with a shattered wrist. Cases my father had helped bury through hush money and old college connections. It wasn't just dysfunction. It was deliberate protection of violence. And suddenly, it all made sense. The enabling, the minimizing, the silence. At the bottom of the report was a handwritten note from Margot. Do what they never let you do, tell the truth. So I did. The fallouts. I shared a redacted version of the report on a private forum for survivors. I emailed it to extended relatives who drifted away after years of my parents' spin. Damon compiled every voicemail, every text. We filed a restraining order against Blake and a cease and desist against my parents. And then I told my story anonymously on social media. In 3 days, it went viral. Thousands of comments, thousands of women saying, "This happened to me too." And then came the whistleblowers, former employees of my father's construction firm. "I know this family," one wrote. "Worked with the dad. Makes total sense." Deals fell through. Investors pulled out. My dad's legacy? Crumbling. The final call. One night, my phone rang. "Sierra," my mum said, her voice trembling. "Can we talk? This is getting out of hand." "You mean out of your control?" I asked. She paused. "It was just a misunderstanding. To let your son assault me? To call me a drama queen," as I cried on the floor. Silence. "You were right, Mum," I added. "I am dramatic, but now I use it for justice." Click. A new beginning. We used the remainder of our wedding fund to open a small center in Cleveland called the Willow House, a space for survivors of family betrayal. Every room had a mirror with the words etched in silver. "You are not the reflection of their cruelty." One afternoon, a teenager with a sling on her arm walked past the front porch. She stopped, looked at the sign, and whispered, "Is this for people like me?" I nodded. "It's for people like us." The end of the rehearsal. My wedding wasn't just the beginning of a marriage. It was the end of a cycle, of favoritism, of silence, of being gaslit into believing I deserved less. I didn't just walk away from that rehearsal. I walked into the life I was meant to live. If this story moved you, please subscribe, share, and tell us where you're watching from. You never know who might need to hear this.